Hi, it's Jessica Boulton here from the Daily Mirror, and welcome to the Daily Mirror's Jess Saying Live. I'm here today with one of the most unmistakable voices of her generation. It's the voice of M People herself, Heather Small. Thank you, Heather, for joining me.
Hey, Jess, how you doing? It's a pleasure.
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. Now, I mean, you have had such a remarkable career. When you look at some of the songs, I mean, talk about anthems. You got One Night in Heaven, Moving On Up, Proud. Are you kicking yourself when you look back at, or pinching yourself rather, when you look back at how long and how amazing your career has been?
To tell you the truth, I don't look back that often, and I think this is part of the way of keeping yourself grounded and happy. But when I sing the songs, it is definitely a form of looking back. It does take some time to reconcile the fact that you reached the goals that you wanted to reach. You did what you wanted to do. I still do it and I still love it. So, I pinch myself often, to tell you the truth. I mean, there's other people that may want to kick me, but they wouldn't dare. But I pinch myself often.
That's what I was going for.
A Freudian slip, yes, a Freudian slip.
No, you've got 2 Brit Awards, Silver Clef Award, the Mercury Music Prize. Where do you keep all of these? And 2, how have things changed since you first burst onto the scene?
Well, I keep them mostly in my wardrobe cupboard. It's just nice to know that, but you don't need to have them on display. I think that you have to just keep going with what you do and believe in what you do. Awards are nice at the time, but the greatest reward has been just singing. Singing constantly. Before the pandemic, of course, I was out there singing live all through the summer, in all the shows, and I think that's the best way. And what's the second part of your question?
The second part is looking back. How has the industry changed, do you think?
My goodness. I mean, where do I start? It's just, I think the biggest change is that our young musicians today are going to find it so difficult to make a living. I mean, a full-time musician now it's incredibly difficult. And then we have the pandemic. The way that we made music and then made money was to go on tour. So a lot of those young people don't have that means. And even now there's deals where they're rolling them back a bit, where they're doing 360 deals where they want a part of the touring. So and then of course you've got things like streaming and things that, it's very hard it's easier for them to make music, the technology and everything, but to make money from making music. And there's no shame in making money, because we want to do this as a full-time endeavor. But what has kept us going in the pandemic and being locked down, it's been our link with those creatives, making music, making films, the artwork, the things that go online now and are successful involve music, sport, and the creative arts. So the industry now, it's hard for musicians to make money. It's hard for musicians now to have an outlet to perform. So it's very, very difficult. It's so difficult.
Do you think it would be even harder now to break through than when you originally did? Do you think you would be able to if you were starting out now?
I think it would be hard. I mean, you can get an audience because people are getting audiences, but now we have Brexit and the whole issue with visas. So traveling around, somebody giving you a gig spontaneously in Spain, and you and your friends, some people do this, you and your friends getting a transit van and making your way over. I mean, those days are gone. Those days are gone. If we don't get in place something, if the government doesn't, speak on our behalf in a really positive way and get those visas for us, it's nowhere near the same industry as when I started. Absolutely not.
It's really has hit the music. People don't. It's one of those things that people haven't thought about, is how it will affect all the musicians, how it will affect the artists, and etc. And I know there's a lot of people affected.
It's a big employer. It's a big employer. You've got crew, everything. It's a big employer, and there's all of us at home doing nothing and not knowing when we'll be able to do something. And when we are able, is it going to be physically possible because of restrictions with
Yeah.
these things?
And obviously because of the pandemic as well. I mean, you had so much lined up and shows that you obviously weren't able to go and do last year and this year because of the pandemic. We've got another question here, which is preempting something I was coming to. Ben Cosgrove saying, is there a new album in the pipeline? And I believe there is some good news, is there not?
That's a good question. I am writing and recording. It's been halted a little bit because of the pandemic, but I will have something out with Boys on Block, which is it's a love song, but it's not a typical love song. It's a love song to a child, and I connected with that song so deeply, and that will be out in 2 months' time. So it's Dane, Ash, Ben. Yeah, there they are. Sure.
Dane Bowers. It's Ash. It's Ben from A1, isn't it? No, sorry, it's Ben and Vino, isn't it? Who's Vanessa Feltz's other half. But I mean, these people, you knew them all back in the day as well, didn't you? What's it been like with them?
I knew some of them. I knew some of them. But the thing is, we've made this journey together, and we came out at the same time, and still to want to make music. And in these times when I think it's really, really needed. So we wanted to show that kind of love and that kind of unity. And like I said, the song's a love song, but it's a love for a child. And at this moment in time, our greatest fears are for our young people, are for our children, the mental well-being, the education. So the song really resonated with me. So it's like it's a love song to our children.
And what's it called?
Oh, sorry. It's called Heartlight. Heartlight.
So that's going to be out in 2 months. And
I've got a new single coming out solo as well. So it's all go. And of course, I'm doing something with Rio Ferdinand's foundation.
Exactly. I heard it announced this morning. You're an ambassador for the Rio Ferdinand Foundation. It was announced today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with them and the work?
Yes, because it's a fight against racism, and it's about equality. So that's what this part of the foundation that I'm going to be an ambassador for is fighting for justice, equality, and dispelling racial discrimination and hatred. I mean, a big task, and we've been doing it for a long time. I mean, Rio's foundation has been going for over 10 years. I remember when they did Kick It Out, Show Racism, the red card, and it's an ongoing battle, but it's a battle that I'm up for. And that is still such a battle is sad, but we are where we are, and we have to tackle those issues. And I think people understand better now what the issues are and how damaging facing racism is on a daily basis. And to go out your place of work, whether it's the football pitch or in an office, and have people chant and racist abuse and be the subject of that, it can be harrowing, and it can have long-lasting damage. And I just don't want it to happen, not for anyone, and especially young boys who are out there as role models, not just on the pitch, but in a social sense, and having to go through this kind of denigration is unacceptable, totally.
I mean, it's been a big thing this week, and Prince William says he's now getting involved with wanting to know what the FA are doing about it after the abuse this weekend. But
it's like I said in the Diva piece, the Diva interview. Black Lives Matter has galvanized our allies, and here we have the would-be king talking about this issue. And it is serious, and I think, like I said, he's become an ally, a vocal ally, and this is what we need. We need vocal allies. We need, like I said before, Black Lives Matter, galvanized allies, brought them on the streets, and had people and made this discussion prominent and at the forefront. So, and I'm here to help, like the Rio Foundation, to keep the my foot on the pedal. Keep the subject alive and let people know just how damaging and how prevalent it is.
I think that's one thing that some people don't necessarily realise. And last year, when we had the George Floyd murder, and and the whole world sort of exploded with the talk about this. And I think there were some issues raised there that some people didn't realise we're still going on in 2020 and 2021.
Yes, being of color, being a black person can be dangerous in 2021 and is dangerous in 2021. And it's not by, people think it's just this working class oaths and things like this, the stereotype of who a racist is. It can be anybody, and it can be somebody who turns up who should be on your side in a uniform, and you find yourself in trouble. I've been on the receiving end of that myself in 2020.
What happened in your case, if you can say what happened?
Yeah, I was in dispute with somebody, and they were in the wrong. They called the police, and when I turned up, the police acted as if I was the guilty party, and they were really quite rude and condescending. And then when I had to prove my innocence, whereas they just took her word, I had to prove my innocence. And when they found out I was telling the truth, no apology. There was, I was still made to feel second class, and I had done nothing wrong. In fact, I was in the right. I had been wronged, and I still had to go through the indignity of being questioned like a criminal.
And I know. I mean, it's unacceptable in this day and age. But
totally unacceptable. And here I am. I've done the best I can do for the society I live in. I'm very proud of being a black British woman of immigrant descent, but having to prove that all the time and having to be made accountable for that all the time, it's tiring. I'm 56 years of age, and this happened when I was 55. And I think, how long is it going to go on for? And then if I see, youth that could be my children and stuff, you could be my daughters, my sons, just my family, my young people, they are my young people. All young people are my young people. But when I see a section of those young people being discriminated against because of the color of their skin, then I must step up. I must say something, because I know myself firsthand how it feels, and it's unpleasant.
And people seem to think things have got better over the years, and really they really haven't.
They haven't. And I've said over the years that they haven't. And, because people don't want to believe it, because sometimes if you believe it, then you have to take action. Well, we're going to have to take action. We're all going to have to take responsibility. And that's just the way it is. When you're fighting for something that's just, and then you're fighting for something as basic as equality, I'm not given equality. I have that already. But that people would deny me that, and I have to fight for my rights. I think it's right that other people join my fight, as I will fight for LGBTQI causes. It's the right thing to do, because we're all human beings, and that's the common denominator, and we have to embrace that.
And exactly, it's all about human beings, and on the gender issues as well. I mean, that we're still having an ongoing fight over that, which is remarkable. If people don't seem to sense equality is equality over, and we're living in the 21st century. We're 2 decades into it. Can you tell me what exactly happened in the street last year, or is it?
No, it wasn't in the street, and it is, like I say, it's an issue that's been resolved, but the experience stays with me. It stays with me that I could be in the right. I could be 56 years of age. I could have contributed positively to this community, this country, and be proud of it. But I'm still treated with suspicion, and I'm still treated second class. And that it does hurt. It does hurt. And for those young people, I know that it hurts, and we have to be there for them to make sure that they have somewhere to put that hurt, somewhere to explain that hurt. Because if you keep it bottled up, it does no good either, and it can stem to mental issues. And we're already here with the lockdown, and talking about our young people and our children of every persuasion having a very, very difficult time with mental health issues. So for me, it's a very holistic view of it all, because one issue can lead to another, and we don't want that.
And you don't want. We've got a message here from Glenn Cosgrove again, who says things haven't got better because people have other platforms to display their bigotry on. I assume talking about the different social media platforms.
And this is true. This is true, and this is why we have to hold those people who have the power over these social media platforms. Hold them accountable and let them know that it's unacceptable. And we have to just keep on until they take notice, until they do something. That if they break the laws of advertising or business, those posts come down really quite quickly. So if if they break human rights laws, if they, you know, that should come down just as quickly.
And I think people are becoming more aware and more vocal of saying, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't say that. You can't say that.
It just takes one person. Everyone will join. Everyone will join the fight. I think people want to do the right things, and sometimes people just don't know how to do the right things. And this is why, you know, you engage with other communities, LGBTQI, Black Lives Matter. You know, the whole fight for equality when it comes to the working class situation, young white boys having trouble in school and things like that. It's all our issue, because we're all part of the one society. And that we might have our separate little communities, it's all well and good, but living together in general, we all live together in general. So we have to know each other's issues, and we have to iron them out together.
Now, I know that your song "Proud" obviously became the anthem of the Olympics in 2012 when we had that, and the anthem for when we were bidding for the Olympics. But it's also become an anthem for so many different communities, like the LGBTQI community. It's such a phenomenal song. Why is it so important for you to do because you've got such a great big LGBTQ following, and I know that you're now patron of the Iris Prize as well. If you can tell us a little bit about that, but why is it so important?
You know, like I said, if you feel marginalized in any way, I have empathy with everyone that's marginalized in any way. You know, and when I go to just the warmth, the love that I get if I play a Pride, if I go into LGBTQI community, they are good to me, and they've always been good to me. They've always remembered me. And you know, you can be a pop star one moment, and then you're not. But the songs live on, and your fans keep those songs alive. They've been amazing. The second part of the Iris Prize. No, the Prize. I'm so proud to be a patron of the Iris Prize. LGBTQI short film awards. £30,000 you get to go on then to make some more films, be more creative. But the Iris Prize is very important because they tell stories that we don't know. If you're in other communities, I know these stories, but if you're in other communities, it's very informative, and in a way that's creative and expressive and emotive, and show you what it's like to live in someone else's shoes for how long the film lasts. And it can be life-changing, because you understand other people's hardships and struggles, and some of those stories are just so very uplifting. There's still a joy in the storytelling. It still holds the form of short stories and short films. There is all that artistry, but it's a new story, and that always is popular. New stories should always be heard, and different storytellers. And this is why the stories are different, because we have a change of storyteller.
And which has been, there's been such a huge push of getting different. Just a little message here from Jackie Small before I go on. Well done, Heather. Proud of you, she says.
That's my cousin.
Is that your cousin?
We're tight like that, girl. We're tight like that.
I love it. Thanks, Jackie. At least she's
cheering me on. Always cheering me on, my family.
Here's another one. When we're talking about relatives, this is my mother. Amazing to see you, Heather. Love you. Where in the world have you left that you would like to visit once lockdown has lifted?
Well, that's quite an easy question for me. I was in Barbados. My family's from Barbados, but I recently discovered in the year of return Ghana. And it's been a revelation, an absolute revelation. I feel very much at home. You know, everyone knows that the Caribbean was enslaved people were taken to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And when I go to Ghana, I can see the thread of the people that we became and the people that we are and where we came from when I go to Ghana. So it feels like a spiritual home. It's quite emotional. It's quite emotive. And the people are just amazing. And the country itself is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. There's a warmth. There's a word that they use all the time, akwaba, and it means welcome. And you hear it all of the time, and it doesn't matter what you look like or who you are. That acceptance, it's like everybody's coming home. Doesn't matter what color your skin is, because civilization started in Africa. So when you go, it doesn't matter what you look like. I'll tell you, Kwaba, and welcome home.
And you feel like it's a welcome, nice environment where you can go.
Oh, it's safe. Yeah, it's safe. It's they're peaceable people, and they're God fearing, and so yeah, I feel at home.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Do you think you would move there at any point, or?
I'm a child of the world, and I'm a Black British, Bajan, Ghanaian, I say. So that's the triangle I feel, and I always go onto the African continent and feel at home. So whether it's for a few months, it's just like anything. I embrace all that I am. I'm British. I'm Bajan. I feel Ghanaian. So yes, I would spend more time there. I want to do some work there. We're looking at Children's Hospital, and getting some tips with from Great Ormond Street Hospital. I'll be speaking to them, because the person involved, she wants to have a state-of-the-art children's hospital there, and it's definitely needed. So talking with the WHO and seeing what we can do as a community together to bring that about.
That would be fantastic. That's brilliant. Is Andrea Catterall here saying, would you move back to Wigan? I used to see you a lot with Sean. Now that's for people, that was your first husband and the father of your son.
Yes, yeah, Sean Edwards. Wigan will always be my heart. When I went there, people took me to their heart. So I feel like an adopted Northerner. I feel like an honorary Northerner, and I do have the keys to the city of Manchester. So we're never Wigan's never too far from my heart. And my son goes there all the time. He sees at the moment, it's been difficult, of course, but he knows the streets of Standish and Wigan. So we're proud of all that we are. So Wigan definitely in my heart. She'll definitely see me out in Wigan.
I love it.
Allowed, of course. When we're allowed.
Once you're allowed, definitely back up to Wigan. And James, obviously your son, he played for Wasps, doesn't he?
He used to play for Wasps. He's back at uni now. So he's studying politics and psychology. So he is my pride and joy. Yeah, the children are. I have a niece and a nephew. They're hardworking. Yeah, they're good people.
Does that make you? Is that why it's so important for you to focus on the things like the Black Lives Matter work that you're doing and the Rio Ferdinand work that you're doing? When you think of your son and others, that that next generation having to hear about these struggles, which shouldn't even be here still today.
Yes, it's important that I do this for my young people to see, but for all young people to see. Any of you, if you're an auntie, if you're a mother, doesn't matter that we come in different packaging. Our children have to understand that equality and diversity is life, and that people are owed that, because that's what they came into this world with, and that it's only other people trying to strip them of it that's what's wrong. Treating people equally and having different types of people on this earth has always been, but the respect that we pay that difference, that has to change. It has to be the forefront. So I'm not just here for my young people, I'm here for everybody's young person, because they're all the future.
And
I fight for my young people because my niece looks very much like me. My son's of mixed heritage. It's about making sure that they understand that they too have rights and that they should occupy the space that they occupy. Nobody should make them feel small, or worse still, invisible. But I want other people to understand that they do also have the key to. They also can be a solution. Not everybody that's not Black or from the same ethnic group as myself is a problem. I want them to understand that they're not the problem for everyone, but we can all be the solution. And that's what I want to translate to people. I want all the youth to see me in that way, that I'm saying that we can all be the solution.
And I mean, a lot's being done in terms of Hollywood are trying to improve their diversity, but they're still trying to work on it. I mean, the big movement after George Floyd, as we mentioned before, Britain's Got Talent obviously made massive headlines at the end of last year when Ashley and Diversity did that particular dance.
Yes.
Were you proud that sort of, I mean, ITV stood behind, I say stood behind it. There wasn't anything to stand behind, but they defended.
No, understand. Yes, yeah, no, you're right. They did stand behind those boys, and rightly so. They weren't telling lies; they were telling the truth. And they are, a lot of them are strong black men, and their friends are strong allies. So they were making a statement about something that really affects their group. The situations where they could go to another part of the country or another country whereby half the band's let in and the other half's not. I've had that problem myself where I've gone with a team of people, they are working for me, and I go to the country, they get let in, and I'm held for 3 hours in immigration. And nothing can be done because the person that's there as the leader is held up in quarantine. Not in quarantine, is held up in immigration. So it's all our fight. And I was very, very proud of them. And my son my son loved them when he was younger, and they were so sweet to him. So for me, they can do nothing wrong. Yay!
Really? I love them as well. They're brilliant guys. Julie Bush on here has said her husband and her often regularly come and see your shows, and she thinks you're amazing. Have you any plans to maybe reunite with M people for a few shows? She says.
I'm really glad for the support. It's really much appreciated. But no plans to go back to the band. Definitely not. None at all. I've got other plans. I'm doing other things.
Yeah.
So making myself busy. One of those things is one of those things is I'm writing a script. So I'm trying to use my voice and my words in other ways.
Can you give us any more details about the script that you're doing? It's obviously a little secret project. Can you tell us any more?
It's like a mockumentary, but it's a comedy. It's definite comedy, and it's an ensemble piece. Yeah, so it touches on things like we've been talking about, diversity and Black Lives Matter, and the whole issue of what it's like to be living in the 21st century in the UK.
Do you still speak to any of the members of the band?
I speak to Cowell often. He always puts a shout out on a Sunday, and it's usually a gospel song. So and I usually share that with others. Yeah, and he's got a beautiful little daughter called Primrose that I've had the pleasure of meeting. So yeah, and Cowell is my son's godfather. So we're in contact.
Yeah. So you can be, but no plans to reunite because you've been doing your own stuff since when was it? About 1999, 2000? You went solo.
Yes, it just seems such a long time ago. It seems to have gone so quickly. So I've been just doing lots of live work. I love going out there to an audience, and anyone who knows me and sees me on stage, they realize I have such a love for it. I mean, it's terrifying beforehand, but it's something I enjoy to the absolute maximum. Yeah. Now I actually look at the audience now.
Because you were saying you get nervous before going on, but I mean, you've been doing this for so long and you've played to such humongous crowds. Why do you still get nervous beforehand, and how bad is it?
Well, I get nervous, I care so much. And, I have played so many shows and people have come time and time again to see me. So I never want to let anyone down. And I never want people to leave thinking, oh, she was better the last time. So, you always feel to yourself, you have to up your game. You have to deliver. And before I strove for a reputation, and now I have a reputation that I don't want to lose. So, like I care a lot. I care so much. And when you go out there, it's the most fun. So it's nerve-wracking. It's definitely nerve-wracking because the pressure is on myself to be the best I can possibly be.
Yeah.
And It's always a task, but I love it when I'm out there. Absolutely, look, I'm just like so excited, so excited. It's exciting, you know. You get up there, and it's not look at me, I'm the greatest. It's like let's share this experience. It's wonderful. You know, there's a sense of. And my big thing is it's a sense of community, and when I play live, that's how I feel. I feel as if I've stepped into another sphere of my community, another place that I can love and be loved.
Yeah, and people are, and because you're such an amazing distinctive voice, and I know we talked about it before about people always come up to you and go, can you sing a bit? Does that get annoying?
Oh no, not at all. I take it as a joke. You know, I know you're referring to catchphrase, aren't you?
I felt annoyed for you.
Oh no, I wasn't annoyed at all. It was all part of a joke. I think
I think he asked you about 5 times, didn't he?
Yeah, and I do get a pleasure out of telling men no. Don't worry about me. I'll tell him 5 times. I'll tell him 50 times. If it's no, it's no.
No. What else do you do to keep your voice? What do you do to keep your voice so good? I know you do something with you've got Manuka honey. Do you have anything else that you do?
Well, like a lot of singers, I do vocal exercises and vocal lessons, but I'm a vegan. I don't have any dairy products because of my voice, and because I'm asthmatic. So asthmatic singer, the weather can affect how my voice comes out on a certain day. So I try to get ahead of anything that could go wrong. So I don't eat dairy products. I exercise. I just look after myself in general because I was sickly as a child with my asthma, and going forward, I didn't want that to happen. I lived in an apartment, a flat, that was a converted house, and one of the other people's residents was a holistic practitioner, and I asked her, what can I do about my asthma, and she said, and not being able to sing maybe sometimes, and she said the best thing would be to stop dairy products, and I never looked back. So no dairy products, looking after myself, my lungs. I do some kind of cardio, try and do at least 5 times a week, 40 minutes. I'm no runner, so it's either walking on the treadmill or walking outside, or during lockdown I've got an exercise bike, Jess.
Oh, have you?
Oh, yeah. So I found that watching some trashy TV while I'm on my bike helps to make it go so much quicker. Or, you know, it doesn't have to be trashy, but usually trashy is good.
Trashy. I've got a treadmill.
So you got treadmill?
The problem is I just watch trashy TV on the sofa and I don't actually make it to the treadmill.
Punching dust. This is not the way to go. It doesn't sense.
That's why you look amazing, and I don't, because you do your exercise.
Oh no, we cannot. No, I will not have that, Jess, at all. That you don't look amazing. I mean, there's a certain standard that we all like to keep, and we have to make ourselves happy. And I don't come from a community that puts a judgment on size. So you know, for me, that's never gonna fly. I've just come back from the Caribbean. I've gone to Africa. Listen, there's girls far bigger than you, and you can't tell them they're not sexy, and they can wind it down to the ground and get back up and do the splits, girl. It's all about how you carry yourself and how you feel.
Lisa here on the message has said that you went to Pride in a place I knew I was going to get somewhere that I can't say properly, Masopalomas Pride, where she
Tenerife.
In Tenerife, yes. I can never say that word. I should have just gone with Tenerife, but I was like, is it Tenerife or Gran Canaria?
No, I think it's Gran Canaria. I think it's Gran Canaria.
In the Canaries, you went to the Pride, and she said you were amazing, and any plans to come back soon? Obviously, I guess that's probably coronavirus.
Yes. Everyone knows that I'm looking for the crown of Pride Queen. I love doing Pride. Like I said, that sense of community. And I felt marginalized, you know, for a lot of my life. And I go into that audience and I see people who felt the same but have found a way to make that negative into a positive, and they've come together as a family and they support each other and they're there supporting me. So I will do Pride at the drop of a hat. The one in Gran Canaria was so much fun. They came out to see me even in my sound check. So I sung Proud in the sound check, which I never do. But when you get that kind of love, that kind of support,
Yeah.
Love will make you do things that you don't normally do, Jess.
I love it. And talking of Proud, you've got your Proud Sister fashion range now, which is part of a big charity or a big awareness raising move that you're doing with your sister.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it and why it's so important?
Well, it came about because my sister, no, she wouldn't mind me saying, is bipolar. And we found this out when she was 14 and I was 15. And it's a life-changing experience, totally life-changing. And during lockdown, people's mental stability, whether they had a condition or not before, can be damaged and can falter. So my sister wanted to do something in lockdown that helped the community, and it was predominantly giving words of hope and just thinking that we can move forward from this, giving hope and giving a light at the end of the tunnel. And we're talking now, and I was talking about, the song was about an ode. The song that I'm bringing out, Heartlight, is an ode to our young people, and this is an ode to people who have mental health issues, and some of those people are children, and some of those people never had mental illnesses or issues before lockdown, and we know that it's so difficult. So we wanted to do something that put out some light out there, that put up some hope, and so we came up with a clothesline that had a message. So Proud Sister comes from the two of us, with my connection with Proud and her being my sister, and we've been each other's rock from a very, very early age. But have seen my sister fight her fight with bipolar and coming out the other side victorious. And sometimes, she's had other episodes over the years, but I've seen she's my hero. And so we want to do something that let people with any kind of mental health issues know that they're our heroes, and we understand the battle day in, day out, and that lockdown is not going to be easy for those people, and it's not easy for anyone. But if you have mental issues, it's even worse, especially if you have things like paranoia and depression. It's difficult. It's really, really quite difficult. So we wanted to say, hold on, sister. Keep proud, keep pushing. And when we say sister, we mean everybody. My best friend is part of the LGBTQI community, and I call him sister all the time. So we wanted to embrace all that we are and all the people that we know and make it relevant.
And make it something so to share and spread that message, because so many people suffering right now. And yes, obviously there's people suffering with the virus, but suffering on the mental health side too. Is we can't ignore that.
And everything that we sell, we're looking to make a donation to a mental health charity. And so Julian Campbell and Julian Campbell Foundation, we've decided together that we were going to make a donation to that foundation. So it will be money well spent.
We've just been asked where can we buy your range. It's at www.proudsister.com, isn't it? You can go
right.
And it's Proud Sister SISTA. We'll put the links on the on our piece afterwards as well, so you can follow them through from there. We have another one. Justin Swainson here says that he saw you at Pride a few years ago. He listens to your music and it helps him. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. You make music, and first off, you make it for yourself, and you make it to mean something to yourself. And you want to put it out there and see if it resonates with anyone else, and that it does. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment.
Now, you've done so much in your career already. Do you have any ambitions left to do? I mean, we've even seen you on Strictly. So, and we saw you do the pilgrimage show, which was you walked 100 kilometers of the pilgrimage with Debbie McGee and Neil Morrissey, but before the virus, obviously, a couple of years ago. What else have you got your eye on? Are there any other shows out there you might do?
You know, when I got onto the panel with Alison, and it was so much fun. So I like presenting. I'd like to present. I'd like to judge. It's so rewarding, because if it's to do with music, I feel that I give an insight that maybe the rest of the panel doesn't have, or a different way to say it. And like I said before, diversity and different voices and new stories. It's always. So I'd like to do some presenting. I'd like to do some judging. I think that would be fun. And you know, it's not to be mean; it's to be constructive, and to have some fun, to enjoy it. I love what I do, and I've learned a lot. So passing that on in a fun way would excite me.
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. And like we said, there needs to be more diversity there as well on screen. So fabulous.
Well, I am.
Exactly. Fabulous.
Put it out there, Jess. Let's put it out there, girl.
Let's put it out there. I think there's someone you could call already to ask that question, but we'll come on to that in a sec. But there was also some speculation that you might be one of the people on The Masked Singer, because they were saying Harlequin. A few of the judges have guessed that it could be you. Would we ever see you on a show like that?
Not as a contestant.
No.
As a job, but not as a contestant.
Not as well.
Yeah, I get asked to be a contestant quite a few times. The judging part, not so much. So I think that's to check.
Yeah.
Have you seen those costumes? They look. I mean, they're great. They look great, but they're heavy. They look so heavy, and I think that. Would I be able to change my voice? I think I'd be rumbled in like 5 seconds flat.
I think you would be as well. I think you would be. When they said it, I was like, I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think, oh, no, they did. Now, just to talk about some of the showbiz stories we've seen this week, and I know that some of the quirky, fun showbiz stories, or the happier showbiz stories of this week. And at number 5, we have Simon Cowell's back in the UK, finally. We've seen him out about. Poor Simon had that awful bike crash last August, and he's been so poorly. Now, I know that you were actually out in Barbados, weren't you? Because you're friends with Sunita and Simon.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm friends with Sunita, and I've met Simon a couple of times, but he is a lovely person, and he goes to show the strength of character that he is to recover from this really horrendous accident. I think all credit to him, definitely. And we all know that he loves Barbados, but he also does love his home country. So he does it right. He, back and forth. He doesn't have to lose, and so he's here now. And I think that it'll be a positive for all of us.
I think it will be. I think we've missed him, and I'm so glad he's getting better, because it was very bad. He was very poorly with it. He broke his back. It nearly did.
Very scary. He's got a beautiful young child, and you want to be the best that you can be for your child. And being sick, you don't really always put yourself first. It's always about your child. So I think he'd be happy to be making a recovery for his child's sake.
Did you have a good time when you were out in Barbados hanging out with Sunita and stuff?
What am I going to say, Jess? What am I going to say? Also, my family's Bajan, so and unfortunately, we did have a death, and I'm sorry. I send my condolences to the rest of my family for our cousin.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Heather.
So it was tempered by a bereavement. But Barbados is beautiful. The people are beautiful. It's not just about the beaches. We go back time and time again to a place because A, I have family, but B, I feel like the whole island's my family. Yeah. And that's how people feel regardless of where they come from when they go to Barbados. There's a level of respect and honesty with the people that you don't find everywhere. So yeah, they're a proud people, and they know how to have fun as well.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
restaurants. What can I say about Barbados? It's like if you ever get a chance to go, and so you can go at any level. It's not all about the big posh hotels. There's
no.
people who've built places, and you can stay for economical. So it's value for money, and you just go out there and you get some sun rays and you enjoy the people.
You enjoy people. I love it,
Yeah.
and I imagine you and Sunita have a good laugh. And also
definitely, she's such a sweetheart. She's fun. She's warm. We have more than fun. And of course, that's where I did my diva interview. It was in Barbados, so
of course,
I got memories of it.
Big interview out with Diva magazine, which is coming out, which is fantastic, because you're talking about some of the LGBTQ issues in there, which are very important to you, as you mentioned. At number 4, we have some pet crazy lovers of the celeb world this week, because Ant and Dec have Ant spoken for the first time about his upcoming nuptials to Anne-Marie Corbett. And obviously his second wife, Dec, was his best man at his first wedding. Dec has said it's not sure whether he's going to be best man this time round, because it could be between him and the dog, which is Hurley, the dog you can see there.
Do you know what? Before, Jess, you might have gotten an absolute giggle from me. But I have a dog of my own now.
Really?
Where that love and that bond comes from. So my money's on the dog.
So your money's on the dog.
My money's definitely on the dog, Jess. My money's on the dog.
And we got another pet crazy celeb this week, because Kate Beckinsale has got her cat in a baby sling. Now,
I wouldn't mind as well. Is it facing outwards as well?
Facing outwards.
That's a little cray-cray. Listen, Kate, I like you. The dog looks adorable, but that's a bit cray-cray.
It is. I quite like that. I quite like that. That actually made me want to go out and buy a cat.
It's cute, but it looks as if you're putting babies on a par with your dog.
Well,
some people do. And when I'm in the moment with my dog, it's lovely, but I never forget that she's a dog. I adore her. I love her. I always say she's not human, but she's a family member. But taking her around in a sling, just a step too far. Even for me, Jess. Even for me, a step too far.
And number 3, we have one of the confusing stories of the week, whether Kylie Minogue is or isn't engaged. Now, our rep has now come out and said she isn't engaged, but Piper seemed to have let a cat out of the bag by calling Paul Solomons, who works at GQ, her fiance. Now, I mean, to be honest, they're saying they're not engaged.
I'm going to be honest. But is it any of our business?
That's not any of our business.
It's not any of our business, is it, Jess? It's not any of our
exactly.
business. And Kylie Minogue, I've met her a couple of times. She is an absolute sweetheart. Now, if she's engaged, congratulations.
Exactly.
If you're not engaged, congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. All I like about this story is I think everyone's happy for her either way.
Oh, she's a sweetheart. They know nobody's got a bad word to say about that. And she's found happiness, whether she's engaged or not engaged. Like
she
I said,
seems happy, and she seems happier than she has done for a long, long time.
I'm speculating. I'm not going to speculate with you, Jess.
No, I wouldn't want you to speculate. I just want to say about how happy I am for Kylie that she's in a lovely relationship now, and because obviously Jason's on Dancing on Ice, Donovan. Who
is also a lovely man, absolute sweetheart. My goodness, he's so honest. He's so honest, and it's lovely to see.
I see, even now, like so many years on, you still think Scott and Charlene, you still think, part of me still wants her to be together with Jason. And it's so many years later, it's like 3 decades later since she went off with Michael Hutchence.
I have to say to you, for me, Jess, that ship sailed long ago. I'm over it. Yes.
Are you over it?
Yeah, because I remember her Michael Hutchence period and everything, and that could be more different from especially you period. So yes, I'm over it. I'm good. I've grown up with her. I've let her grow up.
You let her grow up and move on. Okay, fine. It's just me hanging on to, especially for you, Mira. Number 2, we've got the Rufus Hound has left Dancing on Ice. He left after testing positive for coronavirus after being in contact with somebody with it.
I'm going to speculate now here as well. I'm going to speculate.
Are you?
I think that some previous behaviour might have got him in a little trouble.
Well,
so that's what I'm going to say.
There was some talking about old tweets that he had out, which he's addressed and said he had old tweets on his Twitter account, which used both racist and homophobic language.
That's not going to get me on side.
Which came out, and he's tried to say,
I don't know what he's tried to say.
A long time ago, and I've changed. But obviously, I think a lot of people. Well, I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, he was on a prime time show.
I tell you what I think about it. What people have to do is be careful how they use social platforms. And think twice about what they're going to say and what they're going to say. And if they believe what they say, or if they're following a trend, they have to. But if you go there and you make those decisions, then when you're held accountable, what can you say? You know, you've basically outed yourself. So that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, I must say, just illegally, he has said he apologizes for his past actions. You know, but
that's for him to deal with. You know, that's
for him to deal with. But I mean, personally, I'm quite looking forward to seeing Matt Richardson take to the ice.
Onwards and upwards, Jess. I like his style.
Moving on up to Matt Richardson, who's taken on the ice this week instead. Because I think this is an example of one of those times where something may have been said a long time ago, but this is an example of the things that are still around in society, that perhaps some people don't.
And you know, people say something flippantly, but it has consequences for others. That they learn that there is consequences for others, and those consequences can sometimes be dangerous and harmful. Well, you know, lesson learned. At least that's what we can say.
Yes, exactly. Moving on to number one, my favourite story of the week so far is about Bridgerton. Has got its nominations in the SAG Awards, and there's lots of award season nominations coming out right now. So it's the Screen Actors Guild announced some this week. Bridgerton down for Best Ensemble and Best Actor for the lovely Regé-Jean Page, who plays the Duke of Hastings, as we can see, formerly Waterloo Road, but right up my street is all I can say.
Stop leching, Jess, stop leching.
But like Bridgerton's got an amazing sort of record of 82 million views.
Yes, it's the best Netflix show ever. And people wanted to pan it for its diversity. And I've watched it, and you know, the majority of it, I'm about 2/3 through, and I love it. And I think having that diverse casting has added to the texture and the watchability of it all. I think it still holds to those period dramas.
Yeah,
the costumes are beautiful. You know, there's the dowager. You know, those things are in place. There's the doomsmaker. There's the optimistic young people, and then there's Eloise, who's my absolute favorite girl after my own heart, I have to say. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And then there's the story, which is the will they, won't they scenario. So, you know, it does keep it very, very interesting. And that it's current, and that those diverse faces, you know, after a bit, you forget that.
Yeah.
And that's how it's supposed to be. You forget that. And it's a creative license. You know, she's, like I said, new voices, new ideas. And Shonda Rhimes is at the forefront of this, you know. You've got to think, she just Grey's Anatomy.
So many big shows.
It's you know, she's pushing the envelope, and that's what we have to ask of our creatives. Push the envelope. And look, she's pushed the envelope, and 82 million households have agreed with her.
Exactly. So this is more of, isn't it? Yeah. So more of this and more of Regé-Jean, I think. Yeah, Heather, thank you so much for joining
It's such a
us today.
pleasure.
It's been absolutely fantastic to have a chat with you. And yes, your work with your proud sister and work with Rio Ferdinand's Foundation and your great LGBTQ work in Diva magazine that you're talking about as well. All those things on the cards that you're up to and good causes that we'll put the links to so people
That's
can
very kind. That's very kind.
what you're doing with
Pleasure.
your charities. So, Heather, you have been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yes, I could say the same to you, girl.
All right, thank you everyone for watching.